Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of What the Dementia by Bambu Care. I'm your host, Bre'anna Wilson. I'm a certified dementia practitioner and the founder of Bambu Care, where you can find us at letsbambu.com. So first, I just want to say Happy New Year. I can't believe that we are already in 2024, but here we are, and hopefully everyone had a safe holiday. For today's episode, I wanted to talk about this idea of getting your questions about dementia or dementia care answered, whether by me or by other dementia care consultants, but especially me because it really is hard to speak for other people, you know? But I really did think that this was a good episode for us to start with so that we can start the new year off right and I can answer your questions, okay? At Bambu Care, we always encourage you to ask your burning questions, and some of you take full advantage of this in a good way. But I also know that some caregivers are in the I don't know what I don't know phase of their journey, and that can make it really difficult to ask questions, which is completely understandable, okay? But if you have questions, ask them, okay? For those of you who are new to our podcast and Bambu Care as a whole, welcome. Bambu Care is a dementia education resource and support platform. We are home to the ultimate dementia care resource library called the Treehouse, where we post new content every single month. We have a free support community called Bambu Care Champions. And outside of our podcast, we also have a YouTube channel, which I highly recommend that you subscribe to and check out because we post content about a lot of topics that we don't cover on our podcast. But honestly, you can just join the Treehouse because we post all of our content there, and it's one easy location where you can literally access all of our stuff, and that's one of the perks, okay? But you can find all of our links in the podcast notes, or you can visit letsbambu.com and you can find everything you're looking for there as well, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the topic. Now, the reason that I wanted to cover this topic is because all across social media, I've noticed that so many caregiver questions go unanswered. And when caregivers do receive responses, they're often not very helpful, and this is typically unintentional. Now, real quick, let's talk about Bamboo and how you can ask me your questions. So, most people who reach out know that I am not hard to get in touch with at all. But I will add that I no longer do one-on-one caregiver consultations, which I still get asked about from time to time, but this is something that I haven't offered in quite a while. So, you can always email us at podcast@whatthedementia.com or hello@letsbamboo.com. If you are a member of the Treehouse, inside the Treehouse is a support chat and a topic request area. Podcast members do get priority support over all of our platforms, which is important to know. As Bambu Care grows, so do the number of caregivers who reach out to us, okay? If you are a part of our free support community, you can ask inside the community or even anonymously if you don't want other group members knowing your business. And if you're on social media, especially Instagram, which is at Let's Bamboo, shooting us a DM is an easy way to get in touch. Or if you're on YouTube, leaving us a comment is also an easy way to get in touch. Now, how can you ask a question and get a response that has the highest potential of being most helpful to you? That is the big question, right? So first is a willingness to type. Because we don't offer one-on-one video chatting other than through our MasterClass, typing is the only way that you will be able to communicate to us your need, right? Also, there has to be a willingness to read our responses or my responses. Sometimes my responses can be long because I like to be as thorough as is reasonable, but also concise for the time I have to share and respond. And then the biggest thing is you have to be willing to answer questions and or clarify. Again, more typing, right? This is so important. Why? Because context and details matter a lot. And this is the biggest hiccup I see a lot of caregivers run into. And this is no jab to anyone, okay? I'm truly doing this episode from a heartfelt place because I want to be as helpful as possible to you through the methods that we have available to us. And there has to be some level of understanding that it's hard for me to help if I don't have the necessary context and details, okay? But the biggest hiccup I see is that caregivers want a straight, black and white, easy answer without providing more details or without clarifying or answering follow-up questions. And unfortunately, that's just not how dementia care works. Effective dementia care, anyways. Something very important to understand is that dementia care is very individualized, and therefore it has to be personalized. And so, like I said, context and details matter in efforts to figure out a potential solution. The reason I say potential solution is because dementia care is also all about trial and error, which isn't given enough acknowledgement or respect, to be honest, but it's about making intentional, informed decisions with the information we have, taking action, and then reassessing the situation based on what we observe. And then it's also important to realize that something that works one day may not work the next, okay? So let me give you two examples. So let's say that you send a message that says, "Can you explain the difference between normal aging and dementia? I'm confused." This is a very generic question, right? This type of question does not require any personal details or background information unless you just want to elaborate on what you've previously heard that has you confused, right? But it's definitely not necessary. Now, let's say that you send a message that says, "It's been 3 weeks and we can't get my grandma to take a shower. How can we get her to shower?" This is a great question, and I would love to help. But it's lacking details, and it does require personal details or background information, right? Most situational type of questions will require this additional information, and most fact-based or generic questions won't. So let's expand on this situational question about how we can get grandma to shower, okay? Now, I personally respond to all of my comments, emails, and messages no matter where you find me. I got you, right? But I've seen firsthand that that doesn't quite hold true for every dementia care educator or consultant in this space. So keeping it short and concise like this so that you aren't wasting your time makes complete sense, okay? But once the person responds, again, you have to be willing to type, read the responses, and answer the questions, which, yes, is more typing. Now, with this specific question, we have to first figure out the what and the why. Now, the what is the situation. So, for example, you say you can't get grandma to shower, but in order to be helpful, we as dementia care consultants and educators have to understand how the current situation has been playing out, who's involved, what's being said, and the methods that have been tried, as well as what the person has said, what time these attempts have been made, how the environment is set up, and even questions that target what changed, if anything, from the last time the person was willing to shower and now. But why? Why do we need to know all this information? Because all this matters and plays a part in why the person may not want to shower. Without this information, and honestly, sometimes more, it's hard for us to adequately answer the question, how can we get her to shower? Because we first have to understand why she may not want to shower. There are so many reasons a person with dementia may not want to shower, and we've actually talked about this on a podcast episode. It was episode 45 called "Why Won't My Partner Living with Dementia Shower? 10 Reasons Why plus bonus." We've also talked about this and more in a webinar that we did called "Navigating the Battle of Bathing with Dignity and Success," which we actually do have a replay available inside the Treehouse as a Paw Pass member, along with all the resources that go along with it for those of you who may be interested. All you have to do is go to letsbamboo.com/treehouse and grab a Paw Pass, okay? Now, for each reason a person may not want to shower comes a potentially different solution. Does that make sense? So if you say, "How can we get her to shower?" and I simply responded with a couple generic tips that you always hear, like, "Oh, make sure the bathroom is warm and you have warm towels available after their shower, make sure the person feels safe," Consider installing grab bars and handheld shower head, and put a shower chair or tub transfer bench in the shower tub, and make sure that the time you're suggesting they shower is a time they prefer. And I just left it at that. Though they are good suggestions, you may find that my answer is just not very helpful to you in your situation at all. Why? Because if the reason they don't want to shower has nothing to do with being cold or not feeling safe, and you not suggesting they take a shower at a time they prefer, then these are likely not the solutions that are going to be the most helpful and effective in getting your person to shower. Does this make sense? So, by us asking questions, and you answering those questions and providing more details when you can, we are better able to provide you a potential solution that is better tailored to your individual situation or help you better problem solve through a challenge you are facing, okay? Now, again, remember in the beginning, I said dementia care is all about trial and error, right? So, the next biggest thing is to try it out. Whatever has been suggested, recommended, or discussed, take it into consideration, come up with a plan if you need to, and give it a go. Action is required, okay? That's like the biggest part. Then come back and say, yay, it worked, or nope, didn't work. This is how it went, and this was the outcome. Because maybe we need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe new information has been gathered that can help inform the next steps, okay? So there has to be some level of follow through, which understandably can be the most difficult part. Now, ultimately, my goal is that you don't have to rely on me or any other dementia care consultant or educator for that matter to answer your questions, especially when it comes to navigating challenging behaviors, and that over time you will learn how to navigate and problem solve through these type of situations on your own. That's why I wrote With Intent, a practical guide to navigating behaviors along the dementia care journey. And that's why I created the MasterClass to go along with it for those who need some extra support. There truly is so much power in not having to wait on others to respond. There's so much power in learning how to take control of your own dementia care journey. And of course, we are always here to support you and help you every step of the way. That's for sure our number one priority. That's why I do what I do. But caregiving can be taxing, and texting back and forth to get the help you need can understandably be draining, and if we're being honest, a little inconvenient. I know it, but these are the methods that we have to communicate with one another and for me to help you and for me to learn more about your situation, okay? But here's the thing. Once you learn how to problem solve through certain situations on your own, it becomes easier and easier and honestly almost like second nature, okay? But with that being said, if you want to ask us a question, please feel free to reach out. You will also see a Q&A link in the podcast notes. We are more than happy to try and help. If you would like to purchase our With Intent book, it is available on Amazon, and I'll post the link in the podcast notes as well. And if you want a little bit more support in learning how to become the ultimate dementia detective and navigate challenging behaviors, consider joining us in the With Intent Masterclass at letsbamboo.com/masterclass, okay? Now, with our masterclass, there really is no need to buy a physical copy of the book unless you just want to, because a digital copy of the book is provided for you inside the masterclass, and our masterclass is available to all dementia caregivers around the world, no matter where you live, okay? So hopefully I will see some of you join us inside the masterclass, but if not, no worries, we are always around to help wherever you need us, okay? If anyone has any comments or specific podcast requests, please send us an email at podcast@whatthedementia.com. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of What the Dementia by Bambu Care. We look forward to catching you on the next episode. Take care, and until next time, stay strong, care on, and remember, you are not alone. Bambu Care is always here.